Hey, it's Taren Guy, and welcome to episode 1 of Lucid Living. On this episode, I am talking to Tracy G from Sway in the Morning, and we're diving into purpose and personal freedom talk, along with some of her personal testimony on her celibacy cleanse and anything else you can imagine in between. We're also discussing her new Affirmations EP, Love, Light, and That Good Shit, and what makes it different from the typical vision board. Stay tuned. This is an episode you won't want to miss. I remember I woke up in my dream and being completely aware with a new sense of clarity and instantly knowing that everything around me was just an illusion. I think the same philosophy equally applies to our so-called waking lives. Lucid living. I am super excited about today's episode. We have a very special guest with us here today. You may know her from Sway in the Morning. She is an amazing journalist. She is an edutainer. She likes that. She doesn't like personality. And she is founder of She's Beauty and the Beast. She is Tracy G.
Yay! Oh my gosh. It's always weird hearing an intro. You've lived with yourself for so long, and the only thing that you call yourself is your name. And you're like, oh shoot, there are these other branches.
Yeah, there's these other moving parts.
Yeah, with the trunk of who I am.
Yes, so. And you are, I consider you a fellow freedom activist.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Come on.
Very transparent, fully self-owned, everything.
Yeah.
All of that.
Trying. I don't know if I'm fully self-owned, because I don't want to get to a point where I feel like I've conquered this, I've fully reached the mountaintop or whatever. But I think that I'm fully committed to going down the path of being fully owned.
And
Absolutely.
this is why you're here, because you are so self-aware that it's ridiculous.
By myself. But you know what? That's also my own insurance, just to keep it all the way funky here, so that if I fall flat on my face in front of somebody, or if someone randomly sees my underwear in an office, then I can be like, I told you I wasn't perfect.
There we go. But let's start with She's Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
Who is she?
Okay. Well, we could take this a number of ways. I'll give you a very literal, non-flowery and deep way. I was listening to one of Drake's many singles. I can't remember the title of this one. But he says, She's Beauty and the Beast, Lord. Something like that, right? And I loved that dichotomy. I'm obsessed with dualities and things that just seem like they're on opposite ends, but somehow they just gel together to make something dope. And that always was in the back of my mind. And initially, I started off, this is going to be we're about to take the scenic route, but I'm going to zip into the freeway in a second. Anyways, so initially, that was my Tumblr. I was like, oh, I love that. That's me. I'm right in the intersection of those two things. So that was my Tumblr. And it was the seed that I had planted in my subconscious, because I was just always using that as my default description for myself, right? Then it became, I said, you know what? There's something more I should do with this, because I feel like people more easily digest others by just giving them one layer, right? One dimension. But we're multi-dimensional.
Absolutely.
And I think it becomes a bit more of a challenge to own all those different levels of yourself as a woman, because people can't really understand it thoroughly. And if they see a side of you twerking for one night, all of a sudden you are the twerker for life. You know what I mean? If they see you in church one Sunday, all of a sudden you are a saint for life.
So it just sways from one basket to the next. It's never simultaneous.
As if we're not capable of doing that.
Right.
My legs are crossed and I'm speaking and I'm playing with my hair all at the same time. Look, guys, it's not magic.
I love it.
Anyway, so then I said, maybe this should be an interview series. So I started doing that for a bit. And I liked it. I had some really rich, flavorful conversations with two women that I initially started. But I don't know, something felt like it's going to go a different route.
Yeah.
It's going to go a different route. Pause. I just, felt something, but I didn't see a complete picture. But I had patience.
Sometimes you're not supposed to see that full picture. in order to take that next step, that small step.
Right? Because faith is all about trusting without seeing. So that's so true.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I did. I trusted without seeing. I've always been, I've always had an insatiable curiosity for how human beings work. That's how I started off very, very early. Was a kid that just felt like, damn, I can't wait to get rid of this child body so that these adults understand that my freaking, ideas have value.
Did you really think that?
Word up, dude. Because my parents forgot, this is going to make sense. We're going to tie it back to your question. But my parents, they forgot to teach me respect your elders. So not that I was out here cursing out people's grandmothers and shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that, but I didn't get a sense of authority. I didn't see things through like a lens of a totem pole or whatever. I was just like, if I feel this way and I have proof, or if I feel like I'm doing something correctly and you've got it twisted, I should be able to express that. You should receive it, and it shouldn't matter that I'm like 4'3". So anyway, I was always analyzing things at a really, really early age.
Yeah.
So it started off with curiosity, and then it went into self-awareness and trying to asking myself, do I actually consent to the ideas that my parents have put in my head, other people?
Oh, wait, that's literally like a switch on to self-awareness to ask yourself that question.
Yeah.
That's huge. How old were you around that time where you actually...
I'll tell you. Okay, so the question first came, but I was kind of uncomfortable with answering it.
Yeah.
But it first came when I was in middle school, 8th grade, or 7th grade. How old are you in 8th grade?
About 14.
12? Oh, I was 12. Shout out to the 12-year-olds in 8th grade. Holla.
You are definitely just an old soul. You have been here a million times, all right?
But
it's
from being bisexual.
Okay.
That makes you start asking things. And when I was 12, I had never heard of the term bisexual, but I got caught looking at a girl's ass.
Okay.
I was 12. Okay. I love you,
I don't know what this is, but you were saying that to yourself. Hey,
this is the answer to your question. So, and I remember this boy, he was like, I saw you. Why were you doing that? And I was like, and I felt like nothing was wrong with it. Like I didn't grab her butt. But that's when I started being like, why is he questioning a feeling that didn't feel wrong, that felt natural? So, then being like attracted to other girls and guys, like being confused between if I liked Aladdin more or Jasmine more, I just started asking myself these questions.
Yeah.
Then it led into being a major personal development junkie, which was throughout college and discovering Tony Robbins and Gabrielle Bernstein. And then now speeding all the way up to get to the right now with She's Beauty and the Beast. I was listening to Joel Osteen because I was at a period in my life where things were very cloudy. I had always heard that I was a free spirit, and I embraced that, and I saw the positive connotation of it. But then I think I was in back-to-back relationships, and I was finally single for the first time, and I also felt very unwanted because the person that I was with before literally had said he lost his passion for the relationship.
Okay.
And I wish there was a word, the female equivalent to emasculation. I don't know what that is, because to emasculate is to bring someone down to lowest, which is where females reside, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I was really into my spirituality. I was listening to Joel Osteen, and he said to write down affirmations, that we have to clean up our self-talk. And I was like, all right, this sounds really like mentally productive. Let me do that. So I wrote that down. So like you mentioned before, part of my career foundation is in journalism. So I saw this, and I had like kind of separated from writing from a certain point. And I saw this as an opportunity to reunite with writing. So I said, okay, I'm gonna take my affirmations seriously. I'm gonna look at this as a way for me to flex my creative muscles, And if I'm gonna talk to myself, like, I wanna spit some shit.
All right.
Right. So I did that, and then I started thinking to myself, yo, what about if you added music to this? Because we see how powerful music is.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to the gym and you have one more crunch to do and you don't want to do it, you can put on the right work record, you can play Ferg, you can play Beyonce, and that will propel you forward, and bam, 101 crunches done. If you want to get in the mood, you're trying to seduce someone, music can create that setting, that scene for you, that ambiance, like everything. But we don't necessarily have a stockpile of music that is supposed to strengthen your core, your spirit. That's supposed to be a companion with you on a journey. Like, yeah, some people have like maybe 1 or 2 songs, and then you have an entire genre of gospel, but some people don't necessarily want gospel.
Exactly.
You know? So I was like, let me put the music, and also on a subconscious level of the affirmations. And you heard this because you were at the listening last night.
Yes, I was. And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thoroughly.
I was really happy to have you there. But also subconsciously, the music is moving, and it's a reminder that you have to have the affirmations like right there in your belt, in your pocket, and you have to take them with you. They can't just be chilling in your room, because that's not how serendipity works. That's not how opportunities work. You know, it doesn't just knock on your door like that. So I was like, you know what? I think I might be onto something, because it felt so right. It was working for me.
Yeah.
Like, because at the time my spirit was a little cloudy, and so I was like, okay, let me do this, and I would listen to that, and it would just take away the clouds and bring down a clear day. And I feel like I would have been selfish to keep it to myself. And also, one time when I was over at Sirius and I was playing in the hallway, and I thought I was playing it in my fucking earbuds, but I was actually blasting it through the speakers by accident.
Ooh, not by accident.
Right! There are no accidents in God's kingdom. Anyways, but I was embarrassed in that moment. And I rarely get embarrassed. And it was a deeper type of embarrassment. I felt close to shame for some strange reason.
Really?
Because everyone was looking at me crazy, and I was like, yo, I look like a 7 today. That's nothing for y'all to be looking at me crazy. Like, maybe I'm really a 3 today? And then somebody goes to me, Tracy, did you mean to have this like soundtrack in the hallways, my dear? And I was like, no. Because it was so like close to my heart and very specific. So then the other thing too was, all right, how do you combat the strange? By normalizing it, right? And I said, I'm going to share this. I'm going to own this. And therefore, if people are partaking, it's not just a solo effort anymore where people can just pick away at it.
Yeah.
It becomes something bigger. And I didn't know what the hell I was going to call it. Yeah, so the term audio vision board came. I love vision boards. I've always done vision boards. I'm a very visual person, as are human beings in general. And I thought of audio vision board because I'm literally saying things that we want to become outside of a material level or a professional level necessarily. That's like a lot of people's vision boards. But you can bring it with you, you know?
Okay.
You can't necessarily bring your, big ass 20 by whatever poster board with you in your pocketbook. And also when it comes to multitasking, the best thing that we know in this modern day era to do at the same time is listen to something.
Absolutely.
We walk and talk, we drive and listen to something.
Because even if you have like the vision board app, you still have to stop what you're doing to look and make that decision. But when you're listening to music or anything for that matter.
And I said, you know what? The right people already know what a vision board is. They're gonna be intrigued by audio vision board. I don't even have to explain so much because they already know vision board.
As soon as I saw audio vision board, I instantly understood.
And that's what, it's almost like speaking in code to my tribe, and not really overselling, but knowing the right people already understand the language of it, you know? And honestly, like with the mission of it, because as we get older, and when you were younger, you used to have like your go-to best friend that would just like, swiffer up whatever dark places were in your mind and just get you back at equilibrium. And they were always there. You can call, you'd have like 5-hour conversations with your girl about the bullshit of the day. But you get older, your girl is maybe in a meeting. You know, your girl is maybe receiving cunnilingus. Your girl is taking a bubble bath and having her own time. People are really just in the center of their lives and can't be like on, you know, waiting for your call and every time. So I was like, okay, what is that voice that can be there on a consistent level when your own voice is just not spitting the right game? What's another voice?
My question with the affirmations, because I know that it's very important to your subconscious, especially, even if you haven't consciously fully understood, it's still feeding you.
Right.
When you created these affirmations, did you believe every single one of them?
Yeah.
You
I
did.
had to,
So when you created it, you were automatically in that space of taking it in.
That's why it took me a while.
So you didn't fake it till you made it in your affirmations.
Oh, you're talking about, like, was I, okay, like, for instance, with the joint with Rob Hill Sr., like, the lovers, I don't have a boyfriend, but I'm speaking things into existence.
Got it.
But what I want are things I believe I can achieve.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Your believability level has to be up.
Yes, yes. And you don't have to be like, there isn't a prerequisite to pressing play to these affirmations. If you're at 0, you can press play and baby steps still count. They always will count.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just, unlearning is a process.
Oh, yeah. I like to say remembering. Remembering who we are and why we're here.
Yeah, just reintroducing ourselves to ourselves. And that entire journey can be very heavy. So I wanted to share the lesson, share my own dreams, you know, share my own journey, but do it in a way that's also fun.
It's funny that you brought up the affirmation or that track that you did with Rob.
Yeah. Shout out to Rob Hill.
Yes, yes.
Good
amazing,
man.
Amazing. Celibacy. I know that there was some talk about flesh versus spirit when it comes to just sex in general.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Celibacy.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
My celibacy squad is strong, yo. Well, okay, so we can look at it from a social lens, and then I'll be very candid when it comes to my own personal intentions.
Yeah.
But
it's been a trending topic.
Good, right? Demon Franklin, Ciara, Russell, and I love that being introduced to the conversation of sex, because it's crazy how we can have very, very hypersexual conversations, hypersexual images that are just like littered all down and up our timelines.
Yeah.
And that's cool to the point of desensitization. That's it, okay.
Yep.
Where now we're uncomfortable, it's strange, it's questionable when we have a conversation about muting. That's so interesting to me. And more importantly, I love that we're seeing options.
Yeah.
I'm not someone that's like, yo, if you ain't fucking with celibacy, how funny is that? If you ain't fucking with celibacy.
No pun intended.
Right. But it's not like, you know, I'm a part of this like celibacy network marketing type of joint, and I'm like, yo,
come join.
You need to sign up now, or we are not being friends.
Yeah.
It's not that, but I think people need to understand the options they have as far as lifestyles go, you know, and also just hear, wow, I didn't realize that the way I was acting with this man doesn't have to happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're enjoying sex, like, it's not like every single woman has a hoe phase, or every single woman has had a sex session where they ended it feeling empty. That doesn't happen to everyone.
Right.
So if you're cool with what's going down in your bed, yo, more power to you. Come to me and tell me the stories, girl. But if something's not really feeling right,
address it.
And you don't really know how to vocalize it, or you don't realize you have placed yourself into a cycle that you can't get out of.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself, okay, or maybe you're not thinking at all, which is a part of it too. But really, at the end of it, if you were to be diagnosed, it's like you're a slave to male validation. And for myself, with celibacy, it came from the last person I had sex with was a good guy. Good guy. So here's the thing. When you're younger, we, for the most part, in my opinion, tend to categorize people under like a Disney reference, meaning you either see villains or heroes. When you're younger, that's what you look at it. There's good people and there's bad people. You get older, you realize that life is way more nuanced.
Way more gray areas.
Right. And there's fuckboys who have good days. And there's good guys, and you're like, whoa, I didn't see your horns there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was really caught off guard by a good guy, and I realized I was having sex only because he was a good guy, but that wasn't enough to justify it.
And it's so funny because I've been there as well, and you feel guilty because you start to question yourself first. When it's a good guy, you're like, okay, what's wrong with me? Do I have like, is there this cycle of me wanting the bad guy? Why can't I love this good guy the way that I'm supposed to because he's a good guy?
Right.
So did you go through that, like questioning yourself first before you knew that it just wasn't working?
And I think that has everything to do with us being maternal as women. We can handle so much because we literally birthed all of these men. So we just have, it's that constant nourishment. Someone's down. Okay, how can I fix something? How can I make this comfortable? What's a different element that we can throw into this? You know what I mean?
Especially when you've gone through, I don't know, self-sabotage periods where you've always chosen the wrong guy.
Right.
So again, it's like, I've got here's what I asked for, and I don't want it. What's wrong with me?
So here's the thing with because part of our femininity is being desirable.
Yeah.
And when you're born, not when you're born, excuse me, when you are just, a little pebble in your mom's stomach, the doctor says you're pregnant. The doctor does not know what your gender is yet. That's later. Which means that you are something before your gender, before your sex, and as a spirit. And with celibacy, it taught me, get out of the sexual objectification. I don't want to see myself in a desirable way for a man because I'm limiting myself. Get to know yourself before even your freaking sex comes into play.
Basically, get to know the big blob of spirit that you are.
Yes!
The formless being that you are.
Yes! Absolutely, dude. Danielle fast. All right, so I really just wanted to strengthen my discipline. I'd always heard how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Ooh, wait, say that again.
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Say that one more time.
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
That is very profound, actually.
For real. I feel like that. I want to give that credit to, I think Brian Tracy. He's like a major motivational speaker. I feel like that probably comes from him. Anyways, and I'm also a little bit of a sadist. So anything that feels like a challenge and there's a blessing on the other side of it, I'm like, you know what? Let's see if I can get to my blessing, right?
Yeah.
Get this pot of gold out here. So in addition to giving up meat, giving up chicken, I guess that goes under, whatever, poultry, meat, bread, sugar outside of like natural fruit resources, no alcohol, blah, blah. I felt a voice that said, hey girl, why don't you keep your hands to yourself, but not in the way that you think. I was like, damn, no, this can't be you. Because I got baptized, I think this is 2 years ago. Yeah, I got baptized. And it's when you get baptized, it's like you're saying aloud that you understand the voice of God and that you will listen when you hear the voice.
Right.
You know what that voice sounds like.
So there was a voice that told you to keep your hands
cool
to
out.
yourself, a.k.a. do not masturbate
But
during this cleanse.
But there was also a voice some years back that said, hey, I got something for you. I'm going to teach you how to masturbate. I swear masturbation came from God. I cannot, because I have been trying to masturbate my entire damn life, forever and ever and ever. I thought it would be the greatest thing. I just wanted to be a woman, all of that. Spit is your best friend, that's what, but anyway. So.
Listen.
Anyways, when I was single for like the first time in my life, and I was like, you know what? Let me try this masturbation thing again. And I finally got it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? This was God giving me something because I'm probably going to be single for a while.
I mean, and sexuality is a part of your spirituality.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't care what religion, it does not matter. Sexuality is a part of your being, and you have to give it credit somehow.
Yeah.
There has to be a transformation or an outlet for it.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. So I was so excited when I experienced my first self-made orgasm. And I was like, okay, this means I'm going to be single for a hot minute.
Okay, and at least you got that message for you.
But to me, I feel like everything in excess means you might walk into a problem.
Got it.
It might become a crutch. It might become a habit that you got to kick. You know what I mean? And I was making solo dates for myself.
But I do feel like a lot when we talk about celibacy, especially now that it's a trending topic on social media, right? You get that question, that burning question, am I able to masturbate?
Right.
So, why did you stop masturbating for this particular
I stopped
cycle?
Masturbating because I realized I have a little bit of an addictive, okay, let me not claim it, but many times we have addictive patterns in our life.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to pull the addiction from the root, not replace it with something else. So you'll see some people who are addicted to cigarettes, but then all of a sudden they'll become like a carb freak and they just find something else, you know what I mean? Instead of just working on the discipline portion. So when I stopped, I guess, with my back-to-back relationships and kind of was just on a chill mode for men.
You loved your chill mode. A little too much.
Dude, I had a date every night and it was the same person, AKA me.
There we go.
And it was too much.
Yeah.
And what I love about the fast that I'm doing now is it teaches you to lean on God first.
Ooh.
Lean on God first.
So there's no transformation from one being food to masturbation, from masturbation to cigarettes to something else. It's full on cutting off everything and leaning on God.
So I'm literally looking at it as a diet for my spirit. So when you go on a diet for yourself, say if you're very overweight, and it's very strict in the beginning, because we got to get the weight off as soon as possible. And then we can reintroduce things. That's how I'm looking at it as. Because I even feel the urges now, because I'm like very, very sensitive to a lot. Because I've taken out a lot in my just daily living and made some adjustments.
Yeah.
So I'll feel, if I'm stressed, I'm like, where's the chocolate? And then I hear that more now, and I'm like, whoa, bitch, chill. Like, what you need chocolate for? You just had your lunch 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You know you're not hungry. You know what I mean? Or if I feel stressed too, I'm like, oh, I just want to come. Right? But now, because I have this prayer portion and because I'm not doing this for aesthetic purposes, even though that is a benefit.
Or you're not doing it for a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm doing it to strengthen my bond with God. Because that is the one source that is always going to be with me to the point of traveling to the afterlife. There is no death do us part when it's with God. And so taking it out, I say, you know what? I don't have to masturbate. Why don't I call on God? You know what I mean? I don't have to go crazy at Magnolia Bakery.
Yeah.
Call up God.
So when you call up God in those moments, what happens?
I'm always reminded of my strength. So one of the first things that I'll do, not necessarily, and sometimes like calling on God isn't necessarily having like a one-on-one conversation, because there's so many different faces and avenues and mediums that you can get to know God. So sometimes it will just be like me venting and just speaking. And I guess in one way you could look at it as, well, you just were able to divulge and get it out of your system, so to say. But I feel like I put it in a space where it's going to be recycled properly.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't just throw it out there. It's not like you clean your room, you think you clean your room, you just throw it in the closet. You know what I mean? Like I did it the right way.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll listen to a sermon. Or like I have a friend of mine, Siobhan, she's the one who put me onto Daniel Fast, and you call your support system. You know what I mean? But there's so many different ways to do it. If you want to go to church, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
But I know who to reach because I want to constantly look at it as a bigger picture. Because once you start tripping on your battles, thinking that's the war, it's not.
You said something yesterday at your listening, and you said, imagine if you got that promise from God and said, listen, I'm going to give you this in 10 years.
Right.
However you got to get through this 3
right.
with tears and kicking and screaming, you would agree to the deal because you already know what the outcome is. And you compare that to adversities in your life.
Absolutely. I have to.
Yeah.
Or else my sanity is going to leak from my ears.
So you never see your adversity as permanent or as it not being a light at the end of the tunnel because of that philosophy.
Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, like, I'm really, like, doing circles in my mental museum to make sure that I'm authentically answering this.
Yeah.
Okay, there was one time. Skirt! There was one time. Well, I always looked at things as just chapters. I always just turned. I got into a lot of fights when I was younger. I remember being at recess and sitting by myself and being like, I can't wait till I'm adult. This is not gonna matter. Literally saying 1,000 times to myself, elementary school is not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. Yeah. And then it didn't matter, And then now I'm here, asking to be young again. Wishing I could go back in time. Anyways, but when I was with my ex-girlfriend, and at that time we were in an abusive relationship, and I remember I was so far removed from who I thought I was, who I wanted to be, who I was before I was, just every single chapter of my identity was in question.
Yeah.
And so I felt very trapped, and I remember being like, oh my gosh, this is how it's gonna end for me.
Wow. So you saw it as the end
yes,
of the road.
Yeah, I was.
That's scary.
Yeah, it was scary. And then, how the hell did I get out of that? Well, I had an epiphany that often come. Thank God. I was here in New York City. I was at the Astor Place stop on the 6 train. And we had just gotten into some wild, tempestuous argument. I don't remember what the hell it was about, but I was completely drained.
Yeah.
And I got out the train, and I just sat like a bum on the side and was just crying. And was just like, yo, what's going on? No one would expect this from me. What are you doing, bitch?
Sometimes that's how you gotta question yourself. Yeah.
And I needed to feel a pain bigger than the one I was currently feeling. And so I said, it's time for a tattoo.
Oh.
Because I didn't want to go a route of cutting myself because there isn't a positive end to that. I didn't want a scar, I wanted art. And the words carpe diem came to mind. Seize the day. And it reminded me that I actually am holding the pen to the story of this entire day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even if it starts off, you know how some people, it can be fucking 9 o'clock in the morning and they've already said, yo, I'm having a bad day. It's it's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Where's your pen? Where's your pen? Where's your pencil, as a matter of fact? Because you can erase that shit.
Yeah,
and rewrite.
Why are we deciding that the story has already been written when it's only 9 o'clock in the morning?
Based on how you feel in this moment, when there's many moments ahead of you.
And that's when things clicked. And I got that tattoo, and I wish I could say immediately that we broke up. So it wasn't that, but I started building my strength.
Yeah.
So for some people, when you are that weak and you've been pushed to the absolute limit, and it's Jay-Z has this line, when my back's against the wall and where I react, But then there's some people that are just so fractured, and you have to take the time to rebuild yourself back up.
Yeah.
But it was from that day that I got this.
It changed. Everything changed.
Yes. And I started saying, what? No, this is not how it ends.
Yeah.
At all. Not in the slightest, girl. There's a lot that you need to be doing. There's a lot that you need to be enjoying. There's more people out this bitch. Yeah. And then that just set me on a different course.
Isn't that a beautiful thing, though?
Yeah.
Sometimes I say that I suffer from bigger picture thinking. sometimes.
What do you mean by that? Suffer? Like you think too much about bigger picture? You think that's
the way
thing?
that I see bigger picture is it's a feeling. It's like my intuition, or it's so telepathic that I understand instantly what that picture looks like. And it's so clear that it's hard to get back into the details of my life, knowing
the bigger picture.
The bigger picture.
So
it's a blessing and it's a curse sometimes. That's my take on bigger picture, but I know that you have a different spin
I like
on it.
that because you have to be careful because sometimes that can lead you to morphing into Kanye.
Wait, what does that mean?
Meaning that you'll be like, yo, you don't matter. You're an ant in this entire picture and you don't get it. But you
I don't want to do that. I don't want to.
I know.
Listen.
But you have to be so careful.
Like, what did you say about Beyonce? I don't care.
Right.
Because there's a bigger picture.
Right. So it can be very tempting to just look at people and see and talk to them as if you already see their expiration date. And that's not too nice.
When you're that plugged into your bigger picture.
Yes.
So I say sometimes I feel like that red balloon with no string in the sky. And somebody needs to pull me down every now and then.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I know that I am definitely an old soul as well. So I pick up on, it just instantly comes together.
Yeah.
Like what's happening in the world today, it's like I understand what's going on.
Right.
Like I can come up with my own spiritual conspiracy theory without watching a YouTube video. And then all of a sudden, all of these other theories match exactly what I was in tune to.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
That's super dope. Interesting. I want to freaking interview you about your spiritual conspiracy theories. That's gonna be like an addendum to this.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but yes, but
so bigger picture. Yeah. For myself, I really look at it as like a puzzle. And when you're an adult, you don't go after like the basic like 12-piece puzzle. You want the big kabang, right? And we already see the reason we buy that puzzle anyway is because of the picture on the box. So the picture on the box is the vision you want from your life or you feel like you've received, whatever. Guess what? It's all scrambled and you gotta put it together. And it's crazy because we get the most upset when we can't figure out the pieces for the parts don't even matter. So let's just say this is, I don't know, a big house, a big red house that's on a prairie. There's mad grass and there's mad pieces for the grass and there's mad pieces for the sky. You got the house down, which is the most important part. And you're like, God damn, I don't want to take time to do the sky. Why is the grass pissing me off? But you know that it makes sense because if you put together that entire puzzle and one itty bitty piece of the sky was missing, it would be fucking incomplete. So that's why I try to train myself to respect the pieces that matter the most, that are the meat of the image, but also the smaller pieces.
Oh,
if the
wow,
smaller
love
pieces
that.
were not there, if they were absent, it would look crazy.
What's a smaller piece?
A smaller piece
in your life, if you have an example.
Okay, like say if you have a coworker who's just always withdrawing from your spirit, and say you already know that you're not going to be at this job for long, whether you're in the job because you just need financial stability, or you're in the job because you need this as your first foot in the door for whatever medium of work that you're doing.
Yeah.
But you know that this is a stop, right? You know you don't want your boss's job, which is really the confirmation that you are meant to go at a certain point.
Right.
So something as small as that, I think. And I think a lot of people you're seeing, I read something in Forbes that said how women are more likely to quit their jobs than men for a number of reasons. One of them being we have more of an emotional attachment to our job, which someone can absolutely make a negative spin towards and be like, there should be separation of whatever, personal, professional. But it's like, no, you spend the majority of your time somewhere. I'm forming an attachment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's not a reciprocal relationship, I gotta go. And so it's great just seeing women claim their worth. But before you can take that massive step, whichever direction that you go, you need to be able to take inventory of the pieces and then call them by name, you know? So I'm trying to think now, let's see, another like smaller, they're really people.
Ooh.
They're honestly, when I think about it, they really are people. Like Heather B, she mentioned something to me. Let me see if I can get it right because it was so great. And she said, God anoints people, the devil assigns people.
Wow. Big up to Heather B. That's amazing because we don't,
So some people are on assignments just to ruffle it up a little bit, you know what I mean? Just see what you're about, to test you in some ways, and to build your muscle.
So that brings me into a very interesting conversation that that I have with myself from time to time because sometimes I don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there are a certain set of people that are more, I wouldn't say special, but more enlightened and more, or who are anointed or touched or covered? And then there's the other set. Like, what about the other set? Who are they?
Here's the thing. When you've been in darkness for so long, you've been comfortable there, once light hits you, it's blinding. You're not used to it. Like a vampire, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just if you've been in a dark space for whatever, it's not welcoming or comforting. But the more that you get used to anything, whichever side that you choose, the more you're like, oh shoot, I love it here.
Okay, so you're saying it depends on where you're more comfortable at.
Yeah, I feel like everyone now, I don't know, maybe we're not all gonna reach nirvana, of course. We all have different mental capacities, and we're all meant to be different teachers for people at different levels.
So are you saying that you can be the assigned person for some people and you can be the anointed person for yourself?
I think so.
Okay.
Because it comes with the flaws of a human being.
Right.
You're not even gonna realize
So you can be that person who broke somebody's heart. You were assigned to do that for their growth. However, you didn't mean to, be that assigned person, but you just were for that person. But for you, you have your assigned people for you, for your growth. So it's like a web of...
I feel like everyone has a set of horns and a halo, and there's a story behind them both.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But it just goes down to intention. I'm so big on intention. And then if I know that your intentions were miles away from maliciousness, I'm going to respect that. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to keep you in my life because your self-awareness isn't there yet.
I get a lot of messages from a lot of women asking how they can boost their self-confidence.
Right.
Almost like a how-to on how to not give a fuck.
A tutorial.
Now that's a bit hard to give a how-to.
Right.
But where do you stand in that area?
How
do you not give a fuck?
Well, I'm going to make it as practical as possible because not everyone is like me. So I'm going to try to give a really kind of basic anyone could do. And I would say the first thing is you need to be very aware of your wins. You need to take inventory of your wins.
Okay.
You need to sit down and from whatever age you want to start with, start writing out everything that went dope in your life that you had a full hand in. Because then you're going to really be like, oh shit, I'm better than I thought. I didn't realize that all of this happened and it wasn't due to luck. And it wasn't due to serendipity. It was due to me making a conscious decision. Because you need to start, when you fall in love, right? There are things that happen before. We're always hearing about self-love, but it's like, God damn. It's like you go on a date and you're like, all right, you want to get married? Do you think you love me after half an hour? So we don't do that with other people. But then we automatically, we talk about self-love as if you should just have it. But you need to date yourself. You need to date yourself. And that's why I say do all your wins. Let's just say, I guess you're like kind of online dating yourself. So this is the resume.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, things is looking good. Then you give yourself beautiful experiences where you get to see yourself flourish.
Nice.
Go and have dinner by yourself. Watch a movie. have a conversation like, wow, this was beautiful. What I gained from this, I can't wait to share it with this person, you know. Take a gratitude shower, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, you get into the shower, starting with your pinky toe. You are thankful for everything. You don't realize that if your pinky toe is gone, we don't pay attention to this little bad boy. If that bitch pieced out on you, you walking crooked for the rest of your life. So you just go, you take the time, and you're like, wow, this is beautiful, what I'm made up of.
Okay.
And then what happens? You date yourself, you build trust, you start like the seduction, because it's like, oh my gosh, this was really cool. I'm looking forward to doing this by myself again. I'm looking forward to learning more about this
without
person.
that outside validation, because I think giving a fuck is about what other people think of you.
Yes, so you spend time with yourself, and then eventually love arrives. We know how to do it. We do it with other people.
Yeah.
I just think we need to place ourselves into the seat of courtship and the seat of being courted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And let's just end this with your 3 favorite affirmations.
Okay, let me see.
Yes.
All right, so this, I think this is a good one. Okay, this is the lead to The Becoming, which is the first audio vision board on my EP. And it is, I am a multi-dimensional being with a banging set of brows who cannot be limited.
I love it.
Okay, let me see another one. Another one is, I know the difference between flowers and weeds are the seeds that I'm planting. And then another one that's super simple, but it always just like, it's really, this one came from a place of anyone who feels allergic to the gym at times and just does not want to go work out, but I am moving more and bitching less.
I love that.
And that could also be like if you're stressed, because if you stay in one position, it's just like you're this one fucking like can that's been shaken and like can't go anywhere. So sometimes when you're stressed, all you need to do is go for a walk. You don't realize what our natural resources of fresh air and sunlight can do for you, you know? Sometimes it's not as deep as listening to something, you know what I mean? It's just go outside.
Amazing. And where can they find this album?
Oh, yay. Well, you can find it on iTunes. I think, well, by the time this comes out,
it'll be out already.
Okay, so iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. You can also stream it on my SoundCloud. And that's where you can listen to everything, like the genesis of this. SoundCloud.com/She's Beauty and the Beast. You can go to she'sbeautyandthebeast.com. Yeah, and I think that wraps up everything.
Awesome. And you guys will love it. I promise. I promise. Oh my God, you have to go get it. It is I've never heard anything like that.
Thank you.
I'm so serious, and I'm such a self-dev junkie. I've never heard anything like that. You're on to something. You're definitely a pioneer in your space, in our space. Like you are doing it, and I can't wait to see what else is in store for you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Come on.
High fives. Check out a snippet of one of the tracks from Love, Light, and That Good Shit. This one is titled Green Juice.
I am already a woman of spiritual wealth and am now ensuring that my life is golden on both the inside and out. I have swept out debt from every forgotten and glaring corner of my life and am now chilling, free of worry and full of wisdom. I am proving to the universe in action and gratitude that I am ready to handle more. I am in a constant flow of giving and receiving. I am doing now what my savings account will be hella happy with later. I step boldly into the process of undoing because I know the lessons will sink in that much deeper. I am expecting the blessing of money and I am respecting the blessing of money. Everything I build stands tall on the legs of appreciation. I am on the green brick road to financial abundance and am bringing all...
Thank you for tuning in. Follow Lucid Living on Facebook and Instagram at Lucid Living TV for updated posts, as well as the YouTube channel for exclusive video content. Remember, living is dreaming and dreaming is living. It is all the same. I am Taren Guy, and tune in to our next episode, and see you later.
It's no longer the sky. The choice is mine. How high I fly. The limit is no longer the sky. The choice is mine. How high I fly. Anything that I can dream. Everything that I wanna be starts with me. It's mine if I believe. Anything that I can dream, everything that I wanna be starts with me. It's up to me. It's mine if